The wise poet of the Florentines, Dante by name, has written in these lines, for such is the opinion Dante launches, seldom arises by these slender branches. Prowess of men, for it is God no less, wills us claim of him our gentleness. For of our parents nothing can we claim, save temporal things, and these may hurt and maim, but every one knows it as well as I. For if gentility were implanted by the natural course of lineage down the line, public or private, could it cease to shine in doing the fair work of gentle deed, no vice or villainy could then bear seed. Take fire and carry it to the darkest house, between this kingdom and the Caucasus, and shut the doors on it and leave it there. It will burn on, and it will burn as fair as if 10,000 men were there to see, for fire will keep its nature by degree, I can assure you, sir, until it dies. But gentleness, as you will recognize, is not annexed in nature to possessions. Men fail in living up to their professions, but fire never ceases to be fire. God knows you'll often find, if you inquire, some lordling full of villainy and shame. If you would be esteemed for the mere name of having been by birth a gentleman, and streaming from some virtuous noble clan, and do not live yourself by gentle deed, or take your father's noble code and creed, you are no gentleman. Though duke or earl, vice and bad manners are what make a churl. Gentility is only the renown for bounty that your fathers handed down, quite foreign to your person, not your own. Gentility must come from God alone. That we are gentle comes to us by grace, and by no means is it bequeathed with place. Reflect how noble, says Valerius, was Tullus, surnamed Hostilus, who rose from poverty to nobleness, in reading Boethus, Seneca no less. Thus they express themselves and are agreed, gentle is he that does a gentle deed. And therefore, my dear husband, I conclude that even if my ancestors were rude, yet God on high, and so I hope he will, can grant me grace to live in virtue still, a gentle woman only from beginning, to live in virtue, and to shrink from sinning. As for my poverty, which you reprove, Almighty God himself, in whom we move, believe and have our being, chose a life of poverty, and every man or wife, nay, every child, can see our heavenly King would never stoop to choose a shameful thing. No shame in poverty if the heart is gay, as Seneca and all the learned say. He who accepts his poverty unhurt, I'd say is rich, although he lacked a shirt. But truly poor are they who whine and fret, and covet what they cannot hope to get. And he that having nothing covets not, is rich, though you may think he is a sot. True poverty can find a song to sing. Juvenal says, a pleasant little thing. The poor can dance and sing in the relief of having nothing that will tempt a thief. Though it be hateful, poverty is good, a great incentive to a livelihood, and a great help to our capacity for wisdom, if accepted patiently. Poverty is, though wanting in estate, a kind of wealth that none can calamate. Poverty often, when the heart is lowly, brings one to God and teaches what is holy, gives knowledge of oneself, and even lends a glass by which to see one's truest friends. And since it's no offense, please let me be plain. Do not rebuke my poverty again. Lastly, you tax me, sir, with being old. Yet even if you never had been told, by ancient books you gentlemen engage yourselves in honor to respect old age. To call an old man father shows good breeding, and this could be supported from my reading. You say I'm old and fouler than a fen? You need not fear to be a cuckold then. Filth and old age, I'm sure you will agree, are powerful wardens upon chastity. Nevertheless, well knowing your delights, I shall fulfill your worldly appetites. You have two choices. Which one will you try? To have me old and ugly till I die, but still a loyal, true, and humble wife, that never will displease you all her life? Or would you rather I were young and pretty, and chance your arm what happens in this city, where friends will visit you because of me, yes, and in other places too, maybe? Which would you have? The choice is all your own. The knight thought long, and with a piteous groan, at last he said, with all the care in life, My lady, my love, my dearest wife, I leave the matter to your wise decision. You make the choice yourself for the provision of what may be agreeable and rich. In honor to us both, I don't care which. Whatever pleases you suffices me. And have I won the mastery? Said she. Since I'm to choose and rule as I think fit. Certainly, wife, he answered, that's it. Kiss me, she cried. No quarrels on my oath. The word of honor you shall find me both. That is, both fair and faithful as a wife. May I go howling mad and take my life, unless I prove to be as good and true as ever wife was since the world was new. And if tomorrow, when the sun's above, I seem less fair than any lady love, than any queen or empress east or west, do with my life and death as you think best. Cast up the curtain, husband, look at me. And when, indeed, the knight had looked to see, lo, she was young and lovely, rich in charms. In ecstasy he caught her in his arm. In ecstasy he caught her in her arms. His heart went bathing in a bath of blisses, and melted in 100,000 kisses, and she responded in the fullest measure, with all that could delight or give him pleasure. So they lived ever after to the end, in perfect bliss. May Jesus Christ send us husbands, meek and young and fresh in bed, and grace to overbid them when we wed. And, Jesu, hear my prayer, cut short the lives of those who won't be governed by their wives, and all old angry niggards of their pence. God send them soon a very pestilence.